Hey, happy Thursday. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate the time we spend together. I'm grateful to you for stepping into this conversation and to consider the text as we pull it apart, because this is how we want to use the Bible, right? This is the way we become well acquainted with the verses and wrestle with them in the context of our life, right? This isn't an ancient document that helps us figure out what life was like 2,000 years ago. It is a document that helps us live our God life right now. It has to do with how we see, as the quote from Isaiah here, verse 40, chapter 12, how we hear in the world, how our heart responds in the world around us. It is given, Jesus' life, so we would be healed. And yet, and it says, He has blinded their eyes. He has hardened their hearts, so they cannot see, so they will not turn to God. Who? And John's very clear, right? There are evil forces, powers, and principalities, people who try to pull us out of relationship with God. And if you don't know who those people are, they are people who try to create anger and divisiveness in our life. They may be people we hate or people we follow, but people that push us out of relationship on one of those extremes. Very important that we use the script, the Bible, to understand how there are seams of disenfranchisement, seams that cause discord and disunity. And if you don't know what those are in your life, because sometimes we're blind to them, then find your triggers. And triggers are revealed through anger, right? And anger and fear are often best friends. So watch for where anger is in your life and go towards that seam, because most likely it is calling us to discord or disunity. And then ask how Jesus can help you carve out that rotted material and fill it with love and grace and confidence. Let's read on verse 41. Isaiah said this because he saw his glory and spoke about him. He saw Jesus' glory and spoke about him. Nevertheless, even many in authorities believed in Jesus. But because of the Pharisees, they did not confess it for fear that they would be put out of the synagogue, for they loved human glory more than they loved the glory of God. Oh my goodness. So people believed in Jesus, but they loved the glory of humanity more than the glory of God. So they believed in him, but they did not prioritize him. They did not believe in him enough to follow where he leads, right? They were still too caught up in their own power and their own privilege and their own position within the synagogue. How true that is in my life, right? Am I really willing to go where Jesus leads? Or, while I believe in Jesus, am I still deeply hooked into the things that express my power and my authority? That's a big exhale, isn't it? Right? Am I willing to say the things that would heal me and maybe heal the world, or am I too afraid of what that cost could be in my life, in my ministry, in my leadership, in my reputation? These are really pressing questions right now in this time of Black Lives Matter, this time of unveiling the entire, what would you call it? The cancel culture, that's the word being used today, and how that cancel culture has been alive in the lives of African Americans for 400 years. Their lives and their names and their family units and their intellect being canceled out by a small group of people trying to retain power. And to talk about that now makes some people deeply uncomfortable, right? Even though it's a core necessity for bringing equity back into the world, right? Balance, reconciliation, right? Carving out that rot and refilling it with the love of Jesus. So Jesus here is saying, do you love human glory, human power, human systems, history as it is, your life as it is, or could God be doing something more extraordinary? That's a great question for us at this particular time in history. And what role do we get to play in this, well, in glorifying God? So that's my question to you for today. What role do you get to play in glorifying God? Pray about it. I'm going to pray for you. I love you. Peace upon your souls.